Good morning. Let's try it again. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to FSCJ's Convocation 2015. Very excited to start the year off with everybody and celebrate the theme of engagement for our next academic year. As you make your way in the back, we have plenty of seats up here in the front. If anybody needs to grab a seat, we have a few pockets up here. I was asked to play the role of flight attendant to meet security requirements. So if you would please pay attention to this portion, and then you can go back to your iPhone. But we have exits behind us in case of emergency. We have exits to the side, and we have exits to the rear. So please take a moment to observe your surroundings and find the exit which would be most appropriate for you in case of emergency. Security, was that good? Is that good? Okay, great. Plan B, flight attendant, Plan B. So now I'd like to kick off the event this morning with two of our wonderful employees, Steve Gunter from North Campus and Morton Perry from the administrative offices. They're going to perform a ditty. Wow. Morton, Steve, give us your best Prince wave. That was awesome. What a great example of what our FSCJ community can bring. I mean, their jobs are not musicians at the college, but hey, they did a wonderful job. Welcome. I'm Dr. Erin Richmond, and I am so happy to be here hosting again our convocation this year. We have brought together each other for this celebration to kick off the year, and we're going to get things started right off the bat. And what I'd like to do is to redo what we did last year, because it's fun. So this year, or last year, our theme was One College, and we're making strides on that One College concept. But this year, our theme is Engage FSCJ. How we engage each other as employees, how we engage our community as the community's college, and most importantly, how we engage our students to transform their lives and contribute to this great community that we live in. So, with that in mind, what I'd like you to do is see which side well, this side of the room's a little more tilted. More people are on this side, but we're still gonna have a little competition, and what I'd like you to do is on the count of 3, I'm gonna take a selfie, and we're gonna see which one does better, and I want you to tell, on the count of 3, say, engage FSCJ, and we're gonna see which side does it better. You ready? Here we go. Oh, selfie mode. Here we go. Ready? 1, this side first. 1, 2, 3. Engage FSCJ! Hey, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. This side, y'all are smaller, but you could be more powerful. Let's see what y'all have got. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. Okay. All right. So, admittedly, that's a little cheesy, but we got to break the ice some kind of way. And thank you for playing along with me. What I'd like to do now is introduce our president, Dr. Cynthia Biotto. She has some really great things to say to us, so if y'all would please go ahead and silence your cell phones, and we're going to get everything started. So, Dr. Biotto.
Thank you, and my goodness gracious, this day is about celebrating each other as colleagues, as faculty, as staff, and there's no greater opening to our celebration than Morton, Perry, and Stephen Gunter. I mean, I think it's particularly heartwarming to know that Stephen is a graduate of FSCJ and has been a valuable employee here for at least 10 years, perhaps a little longer. Where did you go, Stephen? Way in the back. There are seats up here for the... And Stephen was one of the first student ambassadors for FSCJ. I would say he continues in his role with being an ambassador for our college through his talent as well as his work. Morton is also a recent graduate of FSCJ in the Business Administration's Associate Degree program. And he's currently working on his baccalaureate degree in supervision and management here, expecting to graduate next spring. He is the 10th child of 11 children. And their mom was also, well, first of all, he's a twin too. His twin brother is an alum of FSCJ, and his mom worked at FSCJ for 30 years. Now, you will find Morton in his spare time, along with his amazing saxophone, as a full-time employee in our FSCJ HR office. With all of that, would you please join me one more time for that extraordinary performance kicking us off? Quite frankly, that is what today is about. It is about celebrating each other. It's about remembering how great we are as colleagues, how amazing we are as life transformers for our students, for each other, and for taking time to enjoy each other today. I also get to kick us off officially by welcoming us all to the 2015-2016 academic year. This is my second convocation. I feel like I'm no longer new. And I thank you for each and every one of your lessons that you have taught me over the last couple of years. So we have great things to do. We have amazing people to enjoy. I want to begin by thanking the chair of our Board of Trustees, Jim Mayo, and the vice chair, Candace Holloway. If you would give a little wave. They are here celebrating each of you as well. We appreciate you taking the time to celebrate with us. Now, not only are we celebrating the new academic year here at FSCJ, we continue to celebrate our 50th anniversary. And in commemoration of this anniversary, the city of Jacksonville has bestowed upon us a proclamation. Our new mayor, Lenny Curry, has declared today, August 20th, 2015, Florida State College at Jacksonville Day. And I have the proclamation right here. Now, I won't read the whole thing because we have many more exciting things to do, but let me read just a bit of it. A small excerpt states, whereas on August 20, 2015, FSCJ, along with the city of Jacksonville, will commemorate its 50th anniversary and its many accomplishments throughout its rich heritage. FSCJ continues to have a profound and positive impact on the local education experience and is a remarkable partner to our community. This is an extraordinary day as we kick this off. There are so many exciting things happening at FSCJ. As Dr. Richmond shared with you, we began last year's convocation with the theme of one college, and I believe through our engagement, through our protocols, through our processes, through our intentions, we have worked together to bring FSCJ together as one college. And we did that for our students, not for us, but for our students who step into the various access points of FSCJ, be it the 5 different full campuses, our satellite campuses at Nassau County and Cecil Center, online, in the high schools. Our students step into FSCJ thinking we are one college. And I believe that we have shown them through our work together over this last year that we are one college. And now, I ask you to take it one step further with me and enjoy the theme for this upcoming year of engage. Everyone in this room engages with others in the spirit of FSCJ, whether it be with our students, our advisory board members, employers, industry partners, community affiliates, friends, neighbors, and each other. Think about how you engage in sharing the message of the importance of education, in sharing the importance and the passion of FSCJ to be the community's college, where everyone who walks through our doors, be they virtual or physical, believes they are respected, they are valued, and that they will teach us hopefully as much as we teach them. So before we get started, I would like to take a moment to introduce you to everyone that has joined me on this stage, because this is an occasion of celebration of leadership. And you know, if you've heard me speak before, I believe each and every one of us are leaders. But in particular, these are the leaders that I get to spend a remarkable amount of time with. And I will tell you, everyone on this stage is dedicated to student success through supporting each of you, our students, and our academic programming, and the excellence that it needs to be. As I introduce each one, I ask that they stay standing. First stand, then stay standing. It's always hardest to help the executive and cabinet feel that it's okay to follow instructions, so I'm going to try. So I ask that you stay standing until all the introductions have been made, and also I ask if you might hold your applause until we have completed introductions. Let me start with Dr. Erin Richmond, Executive Director for Institutional Innovation, Dr. Maggie Cabral-Mali, South Campus President and Executive Chair of the School of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Ian Newhard, Kent Campus President and Executive Chair for the School of Business and Professional Studies. And I might also add, I look to him as provost in training, if you haven't heard. Dr. Marie Nagy, Downtown Campus President and Executive Chair for the School of Education and School of Technology. Dr. Chris Holland, Vice President of Student Services. Dr. Judith Bilski, Vice President of our college and Provost. Mr. Al Little, Vice President of Business Services. Ms. Jana Coy, Deerwood Center and Open Campus President and Executive Chair for the School of Human Services. Dr. Sandy Robinson, North Campus President and Executive Chair for the School of Health Sciences. And Dr. Carrie Henderson, Interim Vice President for Institutional Advancement. And one person that's not on the stage, but I want to introduce you to her in her new role for this year, is Dr. Angela Browning. Dr. Browning, if you'd stand up as well. She is our 2016 Presidential Fellow. Most of you at North Campus know her as an extraordinary professor of English, but for this year, she will be the FSCJ Presidential Fellow. So would you join me in thanking each of these folks for leadership? Now, if you were listening closely, you might have heard that each of our campus presidents have a new title. This new structure allows us to have improved, intentional, and engaged communication across the college with our faculty and all of the stakeholders in the academic process. Their work, along with input from Faculty Senate President John Woodward and Professor Harvey Slentz, has led to the creation of our academic schools, the Schools of Arts and Sciences, Business and Professional Studies, Human Services, Health Sciences, Education and Technology. This organizational structure further connects the dots of learning around our college for our students. It further supports the aspect of being one college, regardless of where you step in for your learning. And if I might take just a moment to recognize someone on this platform who is not only instrumental in leading our academic thinking, but I believe one of the greatest gifts to FSCJ over the last 4 years, Dr. Judith Bilski. And without embarrassing you, Dr. Bilski, I want everyone to know that in a few short months, somehow she signed up for this drop program before I got here, because hopefully I could have talked her out of it, but she will be retiring. I believe Dr. Bilski has been critically instrumental in providing academic oversight to FSCJ during her 4 years here. She has helped right this ship and has been a great leader and friend to this institution. Dr. Bilski began her career in education as a high school teacher. She lived through that and has been working in the community college system and now the state college system for so many years to improve the educational opportunities of students in Florida for at least 27 years. Is that correct?
41.
Oh, see, I was trying to be kind. She says it's 41. That makes her sound really old, doesn't it? I would have stuck with 27, but Dr. Bilski, you know.
I'll take 27.
Dr. Bilski is known for being a champion of collaboration among all of our colleges regarding best practices in college readiness, innovation in developmental education, placement assessment, and the creation of the Educator Preparation Institutes, strengthening college oversight of dual enrollment programs with integrity and accuracy, and developing the initial process for the approval of baccalaureate programs in Florida. She led the envisioning and tremendous work along with academic deans and campus presidents towards the strategic precision scheduling that we're trying for the first time this fall. And it supports enrollment management in a very, very student-focused, intentional, and strategic way. I believe this piece is one of the most important contributing factors to the increased enrollment for our fall semester. Most importantly, I believe Dr. Judith Bilski is one of the most remarkable human beings any of us will ever meet. And so would you join me for just a minute of thanks? Now, as we begin our formal part of our morning together, I want to take a moment to share snippets of a video that I watch over and over again. And I want to share it with you because I believe it helps us define what we are here to celebrate, and that is what is right in the world. So join me in watching what is right in the world. I hope you found the poignancy in that videotape as much as I did every single time I watch it. And I have watched it time and time again, and I'm reminded that what I look for is what I will see. If I focus on problems or why we cannot do something, then those appear. If I focus on goodness and possible solutions, indeed, they also appear. If I look for what is right in this world, I see so many blessings. If I focus on what is right with our college, I see so many good people, so many great accomplishments, and many, many possibilities that only collectively we will think of. In fact, as we move into our 2015-16 academic year, I see so many possibilities at FSCJ. And these possibilities are because of every single person in this room, because of you. We are here to bring FSCJ to the highest level of access and respect and value for our students. I want every single student that walks through our door to know that we need them, we are here for them, and they are here for us. As we do that, we have an enhanced focus on increasing student success, just naturally. We help our students meet their goals for engaging in the community of learning, but also in the community of life. That is the intention that I ask you to share with me as we look forward. So many things are going well. So many things are going right at FSCJ. Our enrollment is up for the first time in 7 years. Thank you. That has happened because each and every one of you have been the safety net, have been the consistent person, have been the person who will answer questions. Maybe for some of us in different offices, often for the many students or community members who wish to become students. Our community is excited about the many possibilities at FSCJ. They believe once more that we are their college. That is critical. And let me just pick out a couple of recent successes in student services and student success. We now have a personalized recruitment process that provides various formats of assistance in preparing for college and includes dedicated advising 24 hours after application to help students start smart. What that means is you call in, you email, you seek potential information from FSCJ, and within 24 hours, FSCJ will get back to you and say, what do you need? How can we help you? We invite you to be part of our community. Additionally, a mandatory orientation for all new students focused on raising awareness of not only FSCJ programs, but providing academic and career advising. Encouraging students to use Career Coach as an initial career assessment and academic roadmaps for building success. We want our students successful. We have built in advising touch points within the first term of enrollment through 25% program of study completion to assist students on their academic and career pathways with dedicated student success coaching all along the way. We are happy you've enrolled, but we're not satisfied until you complete, and that is the focus of what is right at FSCJ. And again, we've talked about clustering our academic programs into coordinated cross-college schools to provide a consistently high level of excellence in learning for our students, regardless of where they take part in the learning, while also, I hope, embedding collegiality among our faculty throughout the schools. Engaging the students in a series of high-impact practices aimed at better academic preparation and taking what we know from colleagues around the country, what are the things that will intentionally help our students succeed? We know that career integration through service learning and civic engagement, leadership development, academic support services, we know all those things are high impact to helping students succeed, and that is what we are joining our students in doing this year. Engagement is indeed our theme this year, and I'm thrilled it's our theme because I believe engagement is a critical and essential piece of our growth as an institution. Engagement in learning, in teaching, with a community through civic engagement and service learning, and with our employers for workforce and economic development. I believe we can also be a contributing success to our city of Jacksonville as they try and strive to revitalize the inner urban core. And that is why you might have seen over the summer our engagement with the city and with the thought leaders to look for a piece of blighted urban core that FSCJ may take and apply their resources to create inner city vitality through our students. That means student housing. That means a cafe for our culinary arts students to show all of the city what they do. It means having a center for civic engagement downtown in the urban core of our city. It means bringing to life new hope for the city of Jacksonville through the energies and excitement of our students. Indeed, we are just at the beginning stages of those conversations, but this is something that you will be hearing about throughout this upcoming year because I believe it is a way that FSCJ shows the city what is right not only with FSCJ, but what is right in our city. The foundation for engagement at FSCJ has been laid by each and every one of you. I look at the great work of Jose Leprovanche and TEDx FSCJ. For those of you who attended it last year, this event, the kickoff, inaugural event of TEDx FSCJ, provided thoughtful idea sharing with 100 individuals in the audience and countless others through the internet. Jose is at work again to have our second TEDx FSCJ. And so when you see him around today, ask how you can be a part of it. Ask how you can be engaged. The tireless work of Dr. Monica Franklin and Dr. Jeff Smith and their work with the Wounded Warrior Project, raising money for the Healing Hands Dental Clinic, and work through the Mission of Mercy, where they provided free dental care to more than 1,000 underserved patients. Think about that. That is what is right among us. The Author Series is another wonderful example of how we incorporate engagement with our community through our students and faculty. Each year, more than 2,000 students participate in events surrounding a selected text that more than 24 professors, thank you, incorporate into their courses. The brainchild of many, but the leadership by Dr. Heidi Marshall can go not unsaid in terms of thanks for your great work there, Heidi. The Healing Arts Series is a testimony to the importance of meaningful engagement through the arts with Professors Dana Kuhn and Jeff Alma. This series provides our students the tools to use art form and practice of art to aid others in reconnecting with their purpose, reigniting their passion, and rediscovering the gifts that they bring to the world. In this excellent example of the collective contributions we all make, art becomes the vehicle by which we engage deeper meaning and connect with the essence of our being. There are so many more examples I can share with you, and I will throughout this year, but share your examples of what is right with each other. Because the great work that is taking place among us, throughout our college community, and throughout our community is critical as we look at FSCJ as being the beacon of hope for our community, being the beacon and example of what is right. These build the foundation for our engagement. And each and every one of us in this room, and those of you who are listening on the web streaming because you couldn't leave your desk based on your essential critical functions today, as we start looking at the beginning of our fall semester, each and every one of us plays a role in the future of FSCJ. Imagine your role over this next academic year. And when you walk out of here, make it come true. Now, I would like to bring Dr. Aaron Richmond back to the stage to lead us through the next portion of today's ceremony. Dr. Richmond?
So, what would Convocation be without a little bit of fun and games? So, I'm going to play a little game with you all. You might have recognized that song. Anybody want to name what game show that came from? Who thinks they know? Dating game. You got it. Yeah, the dating game. This isn't the dating game. This isn't the dating game. But we have a lot of new faces at FSCJ. This is now my 7th convocation with the college, and so I know many of you out there, but we also have a lot of new faces. We have some new faculty. You might have seen their names scrolling before the program started. We have a lot of new leaders at the college. So what I'd like to do is, sorry those of you who I'm going to make fun of here, but you know, it's all in good fun. So what I'm going to do is take you on a little trip back in time and start out with, where is she now? This person spoke Spanish as her first language. She lived in Colombia as a child. She graduated from high school in Thailand. And how much more interesting can one person become? And she played Division I soccer at Seton Hall University. And now she's here at FSCJ. Some people in the front row might know who it is. But it is Jennifer Silva, our Director of Government and Community Engagement. Jen, where are you? Stand up, give your princess wave to the crowd. We are so lucky to have her. I'm privileged to work with her every day, and she comes to us from Washington, D.C., where she spent over 11 years on Capitol Hill working in the Congress, and she's done some great nonprofit work, and she's going to be the face of FSCJ in the community and back in Tallahassee as well. So thanks, Jen. Thanks for, and by the way, people gave me pictures not knowing what I was going to do with them, so bravery, bravery. And our next person, where is she now? Despite the middle finger in her baby picture there, she approaches life with cool, calm, collected demeanor. I know this. And as a teenager, which she's pictured as a teenager in the lower portion here, she was the first and only female stagehand for her theater production group in her high school. As she put it, she whipped the boys into shape. And so you might be wondering who this is. She's also new to FSCJ, and that is Linda Woodard, our Associate Vice President of Workforce and Economic Development. Linda, where are you? There she is. Princess wave. Linda has her bachelor's in mechanical engineering. I'm like, wow, she's way better at math than I am, obviously. And her master's in business management. She came to us from Cleveland's Cuyahoga Community College, and she's going to be out there representing us and helping develop partnerships with our workforce. And she is actually just as warm and friendly in person as her picture makes her look. I can attest to that. So our next person, Well, he was very surprised as a child, wide-eyed, full of wonder for the world. He was voted most congenial in high school, and he spent a little too much time doing the gator chomp at the swamp at University of Florida. He ended up transferring out, not such a great first year, but probably inspired his work that he does today, the great work he does creating high-impact practices for our students. And this is none other than Chris Holland, our Vice President of Student Services. Chris. For the English and communications professors out there, he actually has his bachelor's and one of his 2 master's degree in English. So pretty cool. And he came to us, well, he got his PhD at Alabama and was the first person in his family to attend college. So he's a living testament to what we do here at the community college. So our next person, where is she now? This is not Honey Boo Boo. This is not Honey Boo Boo. This is one of our employees right now at FSCJ, but she did have a past as a child beauty pageant contestant, and she showed interest in leadership and magic early on. Notice the baton. Her mother was really hoping she might become a majorette, possibly a fairy godmother, and she still keeps in touch with the many imaginary friends she had as a child. I might have told her I was going to poke a little fun of her. And this is Carrie Henderson. Dr. Carrie Henderson, stand up for us and give us your princess wave. Carrie has advocated for the mission of community colleges and state colleges at both the Florida Department of Education as well as nationally at Achieving the Dream, and she's a huge fan, possibly even a little obsessed with Grumpy Cat. John Fields, you would like her. Where are you, John? I saw you out there. So there you are, John, yeah. She's your spirit sister for Grumpy Cat, just so you know. We've actually played a few pranks on her in the office with Grumpy Cat, but that's Carrie Henderson. And our next person, she was a lifelong resident of Alabama until July 2015. This is not Scout Finch. Please tell me you know that reference. I actually Googled Scout Finch just to see what the movie character looked like, and it was pretty close. I dare you to Google it. And her no-nonsense sensibility was evident very early on. And this is Dr. Melanie Miller, our Associate Vice President of Student Success. Melanie, where are you? I know you're here. Oh, there you are. Look at her. Melanie got her PhD from the University of Alabama and worked there for many years at Bama. Too bad for her. She's I assume do you cheer for those elephants? Is that what it is? I went to Georgia. We don't really, And Melanie has a great work experience history, but the thing that stood out to me the most is she knows the difference between a planer, a jigsaw, and what's the other thing? A router. So this is a woman who's willing to get her hands dirty and get sawdust all over her. So thank you for entertaining my little foray into the game show there. That's a little intro to some of our new leaders here at FSCJ. So let's give them a round of applause for consenting to that. It's fun when people let you make a little fun of them. It lightens the mood a little bit. So what I'd like to do next is celebrate our faculty. As those of you who know me, I spent 5+ years at South Campus teaching psychology, and before that was faculty at other places. And so being a faculty member is even though I'm no longer a faculty member, it's still part of who I am as an individual, and it's why I'm here, because I believe in education. And so it's only appropriate to celebrate the great work of our faculty here at Convocation, and I'm honored to be able to acknowledge my colleagues here. So if you would take a moment, and I'm going to read off the names of our Outstanding Faculty Award winners, and just hold your applause for a minute. Dr. Carl Colavito, our Professor of Political Science at Kent. Dr. Monica Franklin, who Dr. Bioto mentioned a few moments ago, who does incredible work in the dental hygiene program at North Campus. Dr. Andrew Holt, who's professor of history at South and is on sabbatical this next year. Dr. Maureen McCormick, professor of history at Deerwood. Dr. Karen Morian, professor of humanities at South, also on sabbatical. Karen, are you here? No, I didn't think so. And Professor Jamie Pope, professor of sign language at South Campus, and Professor Glenna Viega, professor of English for academic purposes at Downtown. And finally, last but not least, Rochelle Wadsworth, professor of history at Kent. If you would all please stand, those of you whose names were just called, take a moment. Let's give them a round of applause. No, you have to stand up. I feel lucky to know each one of them and the great work that they've done on our faculty. Next, I'd like to celebrate our Endowed Chair Awards. And we have Dr. Justin Bate, professor of business at Kent campus, Dr. Maria Oler, professor of anatomy at South, Dr. Catherine Rawls, professor of microbiology and anatomy and physiology out at Kent campus, and finally, Professor Audrey Ante, the professor of English and writing at Kent campus. Where are y'all? Can you stand up and stay standing for a second so we can celebrate you all? Catherine, Justin. So what I'd like to do now is get off the stage, number one. But before I do, I feel very excited about what's coming next, and that is our keynote speakers, excuse me. So part of what we wanted to do with this year's convocation, Angela Browning, our presidential fellow, and myself co-chaired along with numerous of our colleagues out in the audience today to plan today's convocation. And the Convocation Planning Committee, as we were working through some of the logistics of the day and talking about theme and whatnot, the committee said, you know what, wouldn't it be great to celebrate our in-house talent? I mean, we have amazing professors who do great work here every day, and why don't we bring them and have them share the message of convocation with their colleagues? So, sometimes we'll bring in external speakers, but this year we really wanted to focus on our in-house talent. So, our two keynote speakers, Professor Rosalind Francis at South Campus, professor of English, and Professor Chad Kuiper, professor of speech communication at South Campus, have been at FSCJ, Chad's been here for 6-7 years, and Rosalind's been here for, I think, 9. They are some of the most engaging professors. Their students are transformed by them. When I was in the classroom, I would have students come to me and talk to me about how Professor Kuiper or Professor Francis had impacted their life, changed their mindset about what they thought they could do. And essentially in education, that's what we do when we engage our students. They're coming to us, we're giving them knowledge, but we're also, to use the theme, teaching them about what's right with them so that they aspire for more. And I think we have many examples of that in our faculty, and I'm very proud to introduce Rosalind Francis and Chad Kuiper to you.
Good morning, everyone.
Do you have the clicker?
How are we doing today? My name is Chad Kuiper, as Dr. Aaron Richmond told you. I'm a professor of speech here at South Campus, as well as the director of the forensics team here, the speech and debate team here. And this is...
Hi, everyone. I'm Rosalind Francis, professor of English at South Campus as well. And we just want to take a moment to say thank you so much for giving us this opportunity today. And thank you, Dr. Bioto, for giving us this moment to speak to our colleagues. We really appreciate it. I'm not nervous at all. Okay.
We are actually really excited today to talk to you. We worked really, really hard on our presentation here. We really came up with a really awesome PowerPoint, I think, for you guys. We stayed up all night working on it. We're just real excited. And so The story behind this is 2 weeks before we were to give this speech, we got an email saying, hey, Rosalind, Chad, do you have any kind of title for what you're going to do for us today? And we kind of went,
Title.
I mean, we have Engage FSCJ going for us already. And so we tossed around a few titles. We thought maybe if we talk about something that's always at the forefront of research, about like what kind of students we all have as faculty and that kind of thing. And we thought, no, we maybe should go just a little more broad with something like that. So maybe if we did something that was a little more kinesthetic and involved kind of the whole body and that kind of thing. And so, but then I pulled a hamstring, so we decided not to go with that one. And then, if you're going to talk about education, you've got to talk about technology, but then that's...
I just wanted to copy the course!
As it's just nothing that impacts us on a daily level. But we didn't want to bring it down too much. And so finally we thought, what if we just gave you a skill that you could use every single day?
Never done that, ever!
We could, you know, it's just...
Never happened. Never done that.
You know. And I think the problem that we ran into in coming up with a title for this presentation is we felt the weight of Convocation bearing down on us, because this is the one time of the year, right, where we all gather as one. This is the one time of the year where the entire college gets together. We celebrate the past of what's happened before us. We celebrate the beauty of the present that we have right now, and we create a vision for what's going forward in the future. And it's the time of the year where we all say to each other, everything is awesome! And this should be the mood of today, right? Everything is awesome!
Shaking with excitement.
The problem, though, is if the enthusiasm with which we approach the coming year isn't just going to be empty idealism and cliche phrases, sometimes we have to face facts that there are some days where everything is decidedly not awesome. Some days it's a chore to get to work, and some of those things that we have to deal with, those challenges that we face working in education, whether you're working in student services, whether you're in the faculty, whether you're in facilities, whatever it is, if we're going to have full hearts and clear eyes going forward, sometimes we have to address the idea that things are most definitely not awesome. And those things start at a macro level and kind of go down to a micro level. I'm going to talk to my faculty colleagues right now. Education has a PR problem sometimes. Working in education, sometimes we have a PR problem. And there is a phrase that I am sure every faculty member has heard. In fact, I'm going to start it, and I'm going to rely on you to finish it. Maybe you've heard it from that uncle at Thanksgiving or something like that. Maybe you've heard it from the kid next door. Maybe you've heard it or seen it online. But faculty, here we go. I'm sure we've all heard this at one point in our lives. Well, you know what they say about teachers. Those who can do, and those who can't. Have you ever heard such a ridiculous statement about education? But it's something that faculty sort of face every day. Education has a PR problem sometimes. And for example, the research backs this up. Smith College in 2013 said that the low status of teachers everywhere is a global epidemic, that the respect that sometimes people have for faculty or those that work in education erodes slowly over time. And that's just not an American thing. That's a planet Earth thing. And then on top of that, edweek.com reports that teacher job satisfaction is the lowest it's been in 2 decades, and that is according to the 28th annual MetLife survey of the American teacher. So we have this swirling problem of macro challenges up here that make us make this face every now and then. And what doesn't help is that there is currently a man seeking the presidency right now who said, when he was faced with a budget crisis in his home state, took the podium and said, well, I think the solution is, and I quote, maybe it's time for faculty and staff to just start thinking about working a little harder and teaching more classes.
More classes.
And commented at that same outfit that he went to college, and it all looked pretty easy to him. I think what he's missing is a secret that all good faculty know up here. Good teaching looks easy because it's well executed and well prepared. Can I get an amen? And so we have these macro problems, but they filter down into micro problems at FSCJ as well. The student services side of the college has undergone a massive restructuring and reorganization that has presented new challenges to our fine, fine student services colleagues every single day. I'm sure more than one of them have wanted to make this face at some point, I'm sure. And so all of these different God, I'm sorry. I forgot to turn my phone on silent. I didn't listen to Aaron. I know, rookie move.
Make sure my mic's on.
It wasn't even a phone call. It's a student email. So, we can project it up on the screen, right? Can't we? I think
that's a
I've got
fancy
an
iPhone
app for
app.
that. Yeah, I have the iPhone 12. It'll be great. So, all right.
What happened?
Hey, Prof. I'm going on a cruise for 6 weeks in the middle of the semester. Did I miss anything important? Let's see. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's just 6 weeks. It's a 6-week class too.
I'm sure they have Wi-Fi on the ship.
Yeah, they'll have Wi-Fi. It'll be great.
That's right.
I think you should take it for a little bit, Rosalind. I have an email to write.
All right, well, poor Mr. Puddles over here. We sympathize, right, with this frustration. It's not foreign to any of us. Whether you're advising, teaching, administration, we get, those lovely kind of messages from students. I've had my share of good classes and rough classes, but what's helped me manage the classroom environment, how I, overcome these challenges, is actually my past experience as a college athlete who played soccer. In my position as a goalkeeper, I had to command the field and guide my teammates. When a shot was made on the net, if my positioning or my arm's reach for the ball was perfect or off by an inch, it would mean the difference between a save or a goal by the other team. My reaction in the heat of the moment determined my success and my team's success. Well, as a professor, my reaction to students in that split second can be the difference between engaging them or alienating them. Well, on my first day of a course, I'll never forget this story. I was teaching, I was placed in a situation that would set the tone for the semester. It was the first day of a course. Everyone's in the class, I'm ready to go, we're gonna have a great semester. Student walks in, sits down aggressively, plops out the book and says, I've already read everything in this book. There's nothing that I'm gonna learn in this class. I already have a full-time job in kids and I already know everything. Okay. So in that moment, right, I have to make a decision, a positive or a negative reaction, what direction I want to take it into, regardless of what I'm really saying on the inside of my head. So I could scowl at the student, roll my eyes, ignore that person. You all know teaching, that's maybe the worst thing you could do. Or I could tell him, I'm so glad you're in my class, and I think your experience will enrich the class discussion. And you're gonna help your classmates, learn more about the experiences of life throughout the semester. I really can't wait for your things you're gonna add to the class.
Thanks, Prof.
Thanks, Prof. Yeah, so it's those moments that really, truly, they make a difference. Another challenge I experience as a professor is apathy from students. I know a lot of us can relate to that, whether you're in student life or teaching. So I teach many first-year courses so my students experience college for the first time. Great. In every class, there is an apathetic student, and I want to reach them. I want to pull them in. They may appear bored or texting, guilty myself sometimes, but I don't always assume it's because they don't care. More often than not, they have been accustomed to being passive learners. They are expected to be handed a worksheet, study on their own in class, and prepare for a standardized test in the coming weeks. That's almost the first thing they ask me on day one, when are the tests? I'm like, that's the furthest thing from my mind. The joy of learning, it's not there for them. Not all of them. The antidote to an apathetic student is not a great secret. It's simple. And the passionate educators in this room, you all do this naturally. We care so deeply about our content and exhibit genuine enthusiasm with the material at hand. We love what we do. How can they not connect with that? And if they don't, that's your loss. Students connect with that authentic energy. If you truly care and you're passionate about what you do, how can that not, impact someone else? We hear about this new term, microaggressions. But when I teach, I hope I'm making micro successes. And as a keeper, I love making saves.
If we're going to keep making those saves in that classroom that Ralston was talking about, we do need to face some of those challenges that we talked about at the very beginning of our brilliant PowerPoint here. And that is, and I want to piggyback off something that Ralston said here, and because when we talk about the negative perception of educators, when we talk about budget cuts, when we talk about all of the frustrating day-to-day things that we experience day in and day out sometimes, there's an inevitable question that comes up, and that is, why do we do it? Why do any of us do this crazy job that we have here at the college? Why? And I can't answer that question for you. And if I have one hope for everybody in this room, it's that you move forward this year with your own answer to that question in mind. Why do you do what you do? Because Ralston is exactly right. The one thing that students latch onto all the time, whether you're working in student services, whether you're in faculty, no matter what your role is at the college, they latch on to authenticity. I used to teach elementary school for a little bit, and let me tell you, working with little kids, they can smell inauthenticity right away when you're trying to be something that you're not. It's the same with college students. It's the very, very same. So I can't tell you why you do what you do. You have to answer that question for yourself. The only thing that I can do as a speaker up here is tell you why I do what I do, and hopefully something that I say will resonate with you. That's literally the only thing that I can offer you as a speaker today. So here's what I have. I think education can accomplish 3 things. It can help overcome fear, it can help reverse inequality, and it can increase the amount of good in the world. So let's break those down a little bit. First of all, education can overcome fear. I have the great privilege here at FSCJ of teaching the most brain-meltingly nerve-wracking class that you can take as a student, public speaking. And so I'm going to give away my first day trick. This is how I start every single class of public speaking now. I come in and I say, hello, welcome to public speaking. And I've got a question for you all. How many of you sitting out there are super excited to be here? You love being in front of a group of people. You woke up this morning with your eyes snapping open like window shades and going, I can't wait to give a speech in front of other people. And 2 hands go up and everybody glares at them. And then I say, all right, very good. How many of you are leaving fingernail tracks in the carpet because we've drug you in by your ankles going, you need this class to graduate? And then everybody else raises their hand. And if I'm feeling especially cheeky, sometimes I'll say, how many of you have delayed your graduation because of this class? 1 hand always goes up, at least 1. And I'm not saying that every single class that we offer here at FSCJ comes with that sort of brain-numbing fear that public speaking often does. But I bet if all of us as faculty had to truly ask that question of our students, and those students truly had to honestly answer, at least 1 hand would go up. It doesn't matter what class it is. Maybe they have struggled with learning difficulties their entire life, and the simple act of reading words on a page fills them with fear. Maybe they have failed organic chemistry twice now, and they know this is their last shot before they have to start paying out-of-state tuition. They've been a great student all the way up to this point, and then bam, hit the wall of OChem, right? And that's something that they have this giant bulwark of anxiety built around it. Maybe taking a college class is something that they are doing in a fit of courage, and they still have all this anxiety devoted to simply just being a student. And it is our privilege to be able to help students overcome those particular fears. And I truly think that's one of the best parts of this job. There are many professions here in our society where if you work in that profession, you see people every day who are at their worst. Divorce lawyers see people every day who are at their worst. They're at the lowest. That's what they do, day in and day out. Veterinarians, they don't get to play with the happy puppets, come up and look their face and everything like that. No, they have to deal with these sick, ailing animals. They're seeing animals at their worst, and by extension, they're loving owners who are also at their worst, right? There are many professions. I can go on and on and on. And I'm not going to say that we see people at their best in the classroom, but at the very least, we see people every single day who are at a crossroads in their lives. Whether college is the next phase, a stepping off stone to do something else, or whether this is something that they're going back to school to do, every single one of our students, without exception, is at some form of crossroads in their lives, and it is our privilege to be able to help them through those crossroads. So, I have some pretty lofty ideas about education as well, because I think it serves an even higher societal function. Education can reverse inequality in society. I had a student who was very, very anxious about public speaking. She couldn't get through her first speech without breaking down, and so she stayed after class. We went to my office, and us speech teachers, we have our tricks, right? You know, our bag of things where we kind of go through. And so we met in my office, and I said, well, you know, what's going on? And don't worry, a lot of people approach speech with a lot of anxiety and everything, and we're kind of like, well, let's get to the bottom of this. Where is this coming from? And blah, 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 blah. And she had a job where she regularly had to work with giant groups of people, regularly. And I said to her, you got this. This is something that you do every day already with your eyes closed. And she said, yeah, but this is the first time so many people have listened to me. And I really think there's something there. I really think many times the classrooms that we have here at this college are sometimes the only spaces where students get the one-on-one attention, where people truly listen to them and empathize them with what they have to say. And something that really marked me was I had the good fortune of a couple years ago at our National Communication Association conference, I listened to a huge scholar in our field speak, Dr. Craig Gingrich Philbrook, and he has the same job that Dr. Mike Chenard and I have at the college, where he coaches the speech team at Southern Illinois University, which means our job is to take a bunch of chatty, dramatic undergraduates and stuff them in a passenger van at 6 in the morning, and then drive them to Pensacola, where they talk all weekend, and then stuff them back in the same van at 3 in the morning and drive them back to Jacksonville, all the while talking. The gray is coming in really nicely. So, but he has this same job, and he said one of the moments early in his career that crystallized how he feels about education is the notion that they had just come back from a tournament, everyone was filing out of the van like, see you, Dr. Philbrook, and going to their car and everything. And then there was one who hung back because things, as we say, were not well at home, and he was living with his parents at the time. And he stopped as he was leaving the van and just kind of hung on the door and went, I just need 10 minutes. I can't go back there for just a little bit. And so Dr. Philbrook and this student just talked about the weather, the local sports team, all of this kind of stuff, and he set this student at ease. And so many people think engaging students, Engage FSCJ is our theme, engaging students is this Dead Poet Society moment where, you know, we get people on our shoulders, no captain, my captain, and get paraded around and everything like that. That's not what it looks like. Lots of times, we good teachers know this, it's those quiet moments that we have with our students where we create an empathetic connection with them. Those empathetic connections have ramifications that reverberate beyond that interaction that we had with them, right? Because as Dr. Philbrook said, it was in that notion that he crystallized his philosophy of education, and that is, what more is education than the dwindling of brutality in the world? What more is education than the dwindling of brutality in the world? Because when we show that empathy to students, they show empathy to others. And you know what empathetic individuals don't do? They don't brutalize each other. They don't take advantage of each other. They hold up society. So even those days when you're driving to campus and you're making that sad Lego face that we put up there just a little bit ago, don't forget for a second, and I believe every word of this, we have the privilege of working in an institution that forms a central pillar of society. And without that pillar, society would crumble. We have a very, very important job ahead of us, and it is a pleasure to do. And finally, the thing that I really approach education with is it can truly increase the good in the world. So yes, it can reverse inequality, but it increases the good in the world. And the only story and the final story that I have for you there is I do an assignment in class where we talk about argumentation, and what happens in one class period is the class decides what topic they want to discuss the next class period. I tell them it can be anything. It can be controversial, it can be not controversial, whatever you want to talk about, and then we'll have a structured discussion about it the next day. The class that year selected gay rights and same-sex marriage, and I went, oh, okay, well, this is a very emotional topic for a lot of people, so we're going to set some ground rules. You know, each person will have 1 minute up in front of the class where they can give their thoughts. They have to cite one academic source. No one can talk over them. Everyone's going to get a turn. So we set up all of those different safeguards to make sure that, you know, we have a fruitful, good discussion. And the next day, the class was killing it. It was just one of those days where they were just knocking it out of the park. Their statements were so well done. They were really well delivered, all of this great stuff. And then I had a student get up near the end. He was 45 years old. He was coming back to class, coming back to college, and he read his statement, but I noticed he didn't have a source citation. And so here I am in the back with one eyebrow raised and kind of writing down, like, where's your source citation for all this stuff? And he anticipated what I was going to say, and he even said, you may have noticed that I didn't give a citation for what I was talking about today. And that is because my source for this statement is my brother. He came out to us 20 years ago, and I haven't spoken to him until last night when I picked up the phone and gave him a call. That wasn't a me thing. That was not no, that wasn't a me thing, right? That was just him, right? Because he took the assignment and made something great with it. And he talked about it to me afterwards, and he said, this assignment sewed up a wound that has existed in our family for the last 20 years. And that is the power of what we do. So every single day, what we're doing is we are not only decreasing the sum total of brutality in the world, but increasing the good in the world as well. Rosalind, why do you do what you do?
Yeah. You're doing a little crisscross?
Oh.
Well, engagement begins with us, even though Chad said, look, but you know, faculty, don't sell ourselves short. And I really wish more often than not we would share what we do in our classroom more and more so people know how fantastic we are. Well, teaching can feel like a lonely endeavor at times. You know, we go to our offices, we teach our 5, 6, 8 classes, and you know, you're grading. Maybe it's hard to take that time to talk to each other and check in and see what we're all doing. Well, my first few semesters, when I was just starting out, I made it a point to explore what my colleagues were passionate about. I reached out to faculty, student life, learning innovations, and administration. I wanted to explore how the pieces all work together, but I wasn't afraid to say I don't have all the answers. I wanted to be able to help students with any questions they had, or at least point them in the right direction. So to make that happen, I sought out collaborative opportunities at the college. One of the first things I participated in back in 2008 it was the author series. So this learning community created by Dr. Heidi Marshall brought together faculty, student life, and administration from multiple campuses and centers. This community appealed to me because of the freedom to participate in any way I wanted to. There was no prescribed method or forced assignment. So it was wonderful to see that whatever faculty wanted to bring to the topic of the year or the theme of the year, great, awesome. Whatever you can bring to this, we absolutely, will take it full arms. So the author series thrives because of the people, not the product. Because of the people, not the product. It encourages students to attend lectures held by professors they may never have been exposed to otherwise or ever be in that class. They have the opportunity to partake in service learning, to apply what they review in a class discussion, whether it be poverty, environmentalism, or human rights. With an environment that celebrates and encourages our individual strengths and academic interests, it's always been a diverse, enlightening, and empowering experience for students and for all others that participate. Well, inspired by the creativity and supportive structure of the college, I decided to explore how I could marry my love of technology with composition courses. I was excited to discover that via the Learning Innovations Department, our college hosted a virtual simulation platform that provides a 3-dimensional immersive environment for users to create anything they want. So for my English composition and literature courses, I asked students to take what they've learned about organization, communication, awareness of audience, and the course content, and apply that in an environment completely foreign to what they're accustomed to. And and I wasn't worried or nervous to try something that really sounded out there. I know maybe some of you are like, virtual environment, English, what? I wasn't scared. I knew I had the unwavering support of my deans, my colleagues, and I knew the students would be along for the ride, and I love that part about working here at FSCJ. I'm not afraid to try anything here. So I asked my students, if your paper became an interactive display using images and text, what would it look like? How will you engage the people who visit your project? And those people would visit, and they did, from literally all over the world. One student created a concentration camp because we were studying Maus by Art Spiegelman. It was an interactive display. They would took people on tours. You could walk through the concentration camp and receive information along the way. It was amazing to see shy students in class. They really come to life when it's online. Another student created a maze. This was in response to a book called Welfare Brat. And in this maze, students created dead ends on purpose to mimic the dark moments and the dead ends that the character experienced a lot within the book. So I feel like a mad scientist at the end of course, like when we're looking at all their projects and I go up to them, whether it's online or face-to-face, and I'm like, look at what you've created, it is beautiful! And they might giggle at me a little bit and think I'm nerdy, but I don't care. The last example I want to talk about with collaborative efforts, well, again, with the unwavering support from everyone around me, I wanted to create a conference that celebrates us and excites students to see, wow, our professors are they're rock stars. So in about 2013, I created the SLS conference, and it celebrates our dynamic teaching and learning experiences, as well as academic engagement opportunities via student life. I knew I couldn't create this alone, absolutely not. Along with Professor Amy Baskin, we recruited faculty, administration, student life, and the digital media communications team to help us make this vision a reality. I was humbled by the volunteers who stepped up. I was so grateful for everyone, and I was just particularly grateful to the people who I asked to be a keynote speaker. They were so brave. The students who attend this conference each year, they are absolutely engaged with each presentation they attend. But why is that? I set the tone for them immediately by reminding them that we are here for them. We are here for their success and to build their confidence. Now I tell them, use today to take a tour of the amazing faculty and support services that will help you get to where you want to go. And when you either become an FSCJ student, because we have high school students who come to the conference, and it's so cool to see their faces. Some maybe the preconceived notions they may have of a community college, we're now a state college, but then when they see the expertise, the academic rigor, the joy, the light in the eyes of the professor speaking, I hear them say, I didn't consider coming here before, but maybe I will. That's a win. So the open secret here is that I want to remind them of the joy of learning. Let's have fun. And how can they not, right? Again, we bring that passion and excitement to every class. Our energy is contagious, and that engages students. Seeing faculty and administration, my teammates, be successful and inspire students, that's what motivates me. I like being on a winning team, and I thrive in a supportive atmosphere. We all have the skills, the knowledge, and the work ethic to make anything happen. To accomplish any goal we want to achieve for ourselves and our students. Oh, I turned it off. Never happened. One collage.
Education fills whatever space it's put in. If you have 20 minutes to work on a lesson plan and grade papers, you will spend 20 minutes doing that. If you have 6 hours to make lesson plans and grade, you will spend 6 hours doing that and catching up on email. And so a lot of the time, we run into a trap in education of constantly feeling like we're treading water and barely keeping our head above the waves that crash over us and everything like that. And so the final 2 things that I want to share with you is, first of all, a poem that I think really speaks to that. And I've got it right here. And in case you can't read it in the back here, it says, "Promise me you will not spend so much time treading water and trying to keep your head above the waves that you forget, truly forget, how much you have always loved to swim." And I really think if we can take that with us coming into the 2015-2016 year, it's going to be a great year. But I can talk at you till I'm blue in the face. Roslyn can too. We love to talk. And so we are actually not the best people to show you why you do what you do and the real reason we're here at the college. It's the students who can do that. And so Roslyn did the lion's share of this work, working with our fabulous video production team here at FSCJ, with Jill Johnson and Kevin Lebrecht kind of heading things up here as well. And so we have put together a video, a short video that shows you the real reason that we do what we do.
There's a lot of amazing professionals that I appreciate. Again, in some places where I didn't anticipate, but they were there, the English teachers and the librarians.
They really draw out of you, this connects to your life, let's talk about this, let's have a two-way discussion instead of just like a lecture.
As a student who is both visually and hearing impaired, on-campus preparation can be a bit complicated. When I met with Professor Piscatelli, he didn't just ignore me.
Before I came to FSCJ, I was at a different university and I didn't do well. It wasn't for me. I was a major hopper. I was nursing, social work, law. I was all over the place. And then I took business law and ethics with Dr. Harvey Slentz and human resources management with Willie Williams. Those 2 classes together, those professors inadvertently helped me decide what I wanted to do.
But she doesn't expect you to get the right answer. She just wants you to make the attempt. That right there is a kind of teaching style that's encouraging, because a lot of us become afraid of doing a problem because we won't get it right.
The teachers from the moment I started were phenomenal. They put their interest in the student. If you don't know what the question is or the answer, they sit with you, they make that time and they explain it.
And he said, be creative with it. And I was like, oh wow, be creative with it. Well, that's kind of neat because a lot of our teachers are kind of just like, it's supposed to be structured like this and structured like this, and you don't have a lot of wiggle room. I think it gave me a lot of confidence in myself to know that I could do something on my own without having those guidelines.
Coming into college, I never really expected to have service learning or community service as a part of the curriculum for a class, to actually having to do it. I believe it teaches you to be, not to just think about yourself, that there are other things out there, and being able to afford your time, effort, and services to whoever it is that needs that help is a learning experience, a growing experience.
It puts learning in a new, a more personal level, where you're able to apply. It's hard to apply an essay, a lesson about how to write an essay to real life, but being able to take a real life scenario and apply what you've learned in school to that, it puts it closer to home. It makes the lesson really stick more. It makes you more proud of what you're writing.
Donating to Soul Hope, it really related to the other stuff that we did in the class, as far as the novels we had to read, the memoirs and the stories of people that really went through some hard times in different countries, and that kind of made it that much more real, that you can actually do something.
I definitely appreciate that we had to go out and do things like that, and my teachers encourage us to get up and actually go out and network and do what we have to do to be successful.
This was the very first time ever that I was able to open up with my poetry. I've never opened up with my poetry for anything, for anyone, for no class. But when Dr. Hendrickson came to me and presented me with the opportunity, I really couldn't turn that down.
Well, I definitely think that the professors at FSCJ have prepared me for going out into the real world. Their support was incredible. They were happy to have me as a non-traditionally aged student.
When I had those discussions with my professor after class every day, there was a point where graduate school came up, which is something I'd never thought about before. That became kind of a dream for me, to get to a new level of education.
She had exercises that got me involved with the other students that would help me learn things, learning with the students and interacting with the students, rather than just, lecturing me or telling me to read something out of a book and figuring it out on my own. She provided specific things to make the students interact with each other, and it was great. I definitely have what it takes to get to the next level in my education.
You start.
So those were stories from all of you. I don't know if you looked at the email over the summer, but those were stories from us. So we heard the students. We don't ignore them. We make them not afraid to fall, and we build their confidence. The fact is, we are engaging them. And you know what? Everything is awesome. Let's have a great year, everyone. Thank you so much.
I hope everyone in this room has one of the best years at FSCJ they've ever had. Thank you for letting us talk to you.
Thank you.
Okay, when we're talking about what is right with FSCJ, I think Professor Rosalind Francis, Professor Chad Kuiper are truly the epitome and personification of our remarkable faculty. Thank you so much. I mean, if I don't age myself, you're rock stars. I would dare say that is the best convocation keynote I have ever experienced. Would you agree? I can't wait to be a student in their class. Listen, so this is what is right with FSCJ. This is what we celebrate in our world. It is learning, it is invigoration, it is engagement, and it is sharing, the sharing of gifts that we each bring to this remarkable institution for education. As you leave here today, you will be handed a small bag of 5 chocolate coins. And those coins are you can eat them, but the coins are engraved with Florida State College at Jacksonville, and on the other side, engage. As we all meet with those that we engage with, in the hallways, over lunch, in the community, in our neighborhoods. Eat one of those 5 for yourself. But then I ask you to share an engage FSCJ coin with someone you want to bring further into who we are. This is an appreciation of the role that you play in engaging at FSCJ. It's also the part that you play in what is right with FSCJ. Now, we're going to break. There's a few minutes for you to enjoy each other here, and then lunch will be at your respective campuses. So wherever you came from is where you'll go back for your lunch. I personally thank you for the energy you bring, not only today, it is so palpable, we all feel it, but I thank you for the energy, the devotion, the care, and the excellence that you bring each and every day you step foot in FSCJ. Here's to a great year. Thank you very much.
so dear. 525,600 minutes